Every day, eBay sellers are making 3 mistakes that are costing you sales. Let's fix it. So, mistake number 1 is item specifics. It seems like something mundane, something that really doesn't matter, but it really does. eBay loves item specifics. They use item specifics to rank your listing and to have it come up easier in search results. If you have bad or no item specifics or put NA in your item specifics box, then eBay will not know who your item is for. It's kind of like the YouTube algorithm. You have to make sure that somebody can easily find you where you are. So if you have a Carhartt shirt and you just say men's Carhartt shirt, no color, no size requirement, you're not going to get as many hits as you would if you make sure those item specifics are in your listing. Not just in your title, you need to make sure that it's in your descriptions as well. You should be trying to fill out as many item specifics as you can. The more you fill out, the more people eBay can show your item to. And also it helps your buyer know what they're getting. Now I know a lot of you will say that item specifics take too long, but it is very important. There's actually a new item that is very important that eBay just recently changed due to the tariff situation. Country of origin. Because of taxes and tariffs, eBay needs to know where your item came from to help with search results for people in international. So it's very important that you make sure you're putting the country of origin. 90% of the time you can probably put China because that's where most of our stuff comes from, but you need to make sure that you're putting that in. It's going to help you get more sales and also get you less returns because you're going to have all that information for the buyer to see. And it also helps if you're using the AI tool to make your listing. It's giving it more information to be able to talk more about that item. So make sure you're doing it. Now, this one you probably heard from a lot of eBay sellers, but it is really true. And I've noticed with my own store that this is something that you must do. And it is ending and relisting items. There is so much debate on if it works, if eBay favors it or not. eBay even kind of says, if you go in there and read, that they don't really think that you should end and relist items. This is mostly for eBay's own internal traffic though. When I end and relist items, I get those ended items selling. Not all of them, but if I end 100 items and I relist them, I'm having 10 items at least that week sell that were sitting for months. Typically, I only do this about every 3 months. You don't want to do it too often because it does tend to lose its effect. But I would say if you never tried it, if you have items older than 3 months old, end and relist. It does work. Now there is a caveat to that. You want to make sure when you're ending and relisting, you're not just relisting at the same price or the same title even. Titles, if they're not good, you want to kind of quickly go through them. eBay has a bulk editing tool that you can do on the computer, and you should utilize that. For the titles, you want to make sure that they're just accurate. Check all your listings. I've gone back through my old inventory and seen, oh, I forgot to list the size of the shirt. Kind of goes back to item specifics, which I will just say, try to say that 10 times fast. I felt myself stumbling several times. But you want to make sure that you're also lowering the price. If it's sat for 3 months, go ahead and drop it 10%, 20%, 30%. It's going to help you get those items moving. You've now relisted them. It's a new item on eBay. They're going to show it to more people and the price is lower, so people are more willing to spend the money. The last mistake that you don't want to make that's going to impact your sales if you're doing it is photos. Now, of course, everyone knows that photos are very important. This is how the buyer sees your item on eBay and how they're going to see it in their own home. If it's on a dusty or dirty floor, or if the item has fingerprints or smudges on it like a phone or a computer, people are going to tend to look at it and say, I don't really want to buy that one. I want a newer version. I want something that looks new. People love new items. They love that feeling of getting something new. I think all of us do. So when we buy used on eBay, we want to feel like we're getting something that's used at a cheaper price, but still has that new feel. So make sure your items are clean and they're ready for pictures. Now, obviously, when it comes to taking pictures, you can use your phone. I use my phone to do it. I do have an iPhone 16, but I used to do all my pictures for eBay on an iPhone 7 just about 2 years ago. So it's not as important of quality of the picture as it is clarity and good pictures of the item. You're going to want to make sure, if you're taking pictures of clothes especially, you're going to want to make sure that you're taking pictures of every single angle of that. I usually like to hang the shirt up. I take a straight on shot and make sure you're using the ratio on the eBay app of 1-to-1, not the 4x3. eBay does prefer the 1-by-1 layout for the pictures. Going back to what I was saying about the shirt, you want to make sure I always take a picture of the front of the shirt. Then I also take it angled up or down, depending on the lighting of the shirt. And then I zoom in if it has a pattern, so that way you can clearly see it, because sometimes on photos, and depending on how they're viewing the item through a computer screen, it can tend not to show the color great. So that way when you get nice and close, you can see the color and patterns, especially like chevron patterns, really small patterns. It's hard to see from a far away photo. Just like this shirt, if I bring it closer, you can see that it's striped. But when I'm kind of farther away, it kind of goes away, that effect. So make sure you're taking close photos of the item. And then I obviously take a picture of the back, and then I lay it down and I do my measurements. Measurements for clothing are super important, and you want to make sure when you're taking those photos, you're taking a picture of the full shot with your rulers, and then also the measurements, so they can see, okay, that ruler goes to this, that other ruler goes to your width across. Another big thing is, like I was saying with the photos, you want to make sure you have enough photos for the item that you're listing. Now, one of the major items I sell, and I kind of have fallen in love with it again, I recently just bought another box of remotes. I bought 100 remotes off of eBay that I'm going to resell. Now, they do take a long time to list just because of the fact I clean all my remotes. Like I said, I want my items to be nice and clean for the customer, not dingy and grimy, and they're going to feel nasty using it. So remotes, though, are really easy once I get my listings created to take the pictures. With remotes, I take a picture of the front, I take a picture of the back, and then I take a picture without the battery cover on to show that there is no corrosion. That's 3 photos for one item. Some items require more photos. Usually the more expensive it is, the more pictures you should have. You're allowed to use 24 photos. Now, I know that we want to have time is money, but we need to make sure we're having enough photos for the buyer to make a smart buying decision. This way, they don't make a return. If they can see everything with it, then they know that they're making a good buying decision. And if you do have any flaws in your item, like let's say I had a small stain on the shirt here or on the collar, call it out in your description. Say on photo number 3, there is a small stain. Now, a lot of buyers aren't going to read the entire description, or maybe not read it at all. But it is important, that way you have it and you can refer back to it to the buyer, and maybe they'll be like, well, maybe I should have checked that. And they might keep the item, or maybe a small refund will make them happy. But photos are very important. It's just like this. Presentation is everything. You want to show people the best side of your item. Last thing I wanted to talk about wasn't really eBay, but just kind of giving you a little bit into my life. I finally got a mic. So now when I go to the thrift store or a garage sale or a storage unit, I'll be able to have this mic, and hopefully the audio quality will be a lot better. So I hope you guys enjoy. Let me know in the comments if you want to come with me on my next storage buy. I have one in the works, so hopefully we'll have one soon. But leave it in the comments if you want to see me go to a storage unit and kind of film the process of how I go through it. Let me know. But this is Mr. Florida Flipper, guys. You know what it's about. See you on the next one.